Welcome to yet another episode of Mr. Vamos Dissect. The assignment today is very simple. We're just going to give you guys an in-depth analysis, or rather a small take on what we think about the final. England takes on Spain. Spain takes on England. In a final that not very many of us saw coming. Of course, we had the likes of Germany, Italy, France, all of them kicked out along the way. Netherlands, the last victims of England, and then France, the last victims of Spain. Well, just like I said, it's a very simple thing for us today. We want to wait for 10 p.m. and see what really happens. Wait to see the beautiful football that's going to be played. Well, for those of you who are new on the channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to tell a friend that what we do here is basically football dissection. Well, this is going to be a very interesting clash. The reason why I think it's going to be a very interesting clash is because, well, if you're to get the two sides and put them on a weighing scale, probably I think that the odds will probably be favoring Spain, because Spain has actually been playing a lot of beautiful football the whole tournament. They've been fluid in the defense. They've been fluid in the midfield. Of course, their striking department, away aside from their number 9, Alvaro Morata, they've been cooking the whole tournament. England, on the other hand, they have flattered to deceive very many times. They have not really won games as convincingly as we've expected them to win. Bellingham has not really been having a lot of beautiful performances inside there, although sometimes he comes up and racks up a goal inside there. Very many of you famously remember the bicycle kick against Slovakia that actually enabled them to take the game into extra time. And then, of course, the game they played the last time out against Netherlands, I think was one of the most beautiful pieces of play that they've had the whole tournament. Of course, Ollie Watkins coming off the bench to score the winning goal in the 90th at the death. And very many of you will be saying that maybe Southgate actually has some tactics inside there, because we'd expect maybe Southgate was going to bring in an Ivan Toney, who is more like a bully and a better striker in regards to putting the pressure and all that, to maybe come and look for the goal that would have won them the game. But Ollie Watkins, the Aston Villa man, came through and delivered the goods. And long story short, they're in the final. When we get into a one-on-one analysis of these two teams, when we get into the goalkeeping department, of course, Unai Simon versus Jordan Pickford, I think these are two average goalkeepers that have been getting their call-ups every single time that they're playing when they're internationals. Take nothing away from the coaches and the call-ups, but I think the international football system I think it's somewhat tricky, because the goalkeepers that actually have beautiful displays during the season are not given their call-ups. In regards to, I think, penalty shooters, because it will be something that we would look at when the game goes to penalties, just in case. I think Unai Simon is a better spot kick grabber than Jordan Pickford. Of course, Pickford is famously known for using his bottle to maybe get which direction that the players are going to take their penalties. But I think these are two evenly matched goalkeepers. In the defense, though, I think Spain takes a nudge. Spain takes a nod again ahead of England, because I think Laporte and Normand was out the last time out, and he was deputized by the former Real Madrid captain. I think they were rock solid in the back there. It was the last time they played. And then England, I still do not trust the defense of John Stones and Guehi. I think it's really shaky. And then for England, who is going into a back three, I think it makes their defense very wide open. Because of course England playing with the CDM in Declan Rice, and Kobe Mino, who is going to be feeding off Declan Rice most of the time and dictating the play. It's really tricky, because if you see all the goals that England has conceded this tournament, there's been a lot of maybe they're bringing them back on the counter. Maybe there's a person sleeping inside there, and it's really tricky inside there. When we get into the midfield, Spain, I think, to me, Spain has been having the best midfield. Fabian Ruiz, I spoke about him the last time we spoke about Spain. I don't know how he hasn't been getting a run of minutes at PSG. And I think I don't want to believe that Rodri has actually been bringing out the best in him. But I think Fabian Ruiz and Rodri, these are two ball-playing midfielders that we didn't really expect to be cooking football like this, but they really have been cooking it. Pedri getting injured unlocks for you a Dani Olmo, who came into the fray and is actually the top scorer of the tournament together with Harry Kane. This is the person that started the tournament on the bench. And of course, coming off the bench, he scored 2 goals. And then finally, last time he came off the bench, scored the 3rd goal, which was, I think, somewhat supposed to be an own goal, with a beautiful turn in the box in front of Chouameni and scoring that goal. England in the midfield, it's still a bit of headache for very many people that support football, because somewhat, I think, of course, the resurgence of Kobe Mino into the midfield and getting a run of minutes has been beautiful because he has gotten a number of complete passes inside there. I think he racks up the log in regards to complete passes in the whole tournament. And of course, he makes the England team to tick. Of course, there's been a lot of praises from Declan Rice and all those guys about how he's bringing a lot of fluidity into the team. So when you get a Declan Rice, Kobe Mino, and a probable Jude Bellingham, who I think has really flattered to deceive very many times. He's trying to do a lot of dribbles in the center of the pitch. I think that whole Ballon d'Or wagwis is playing around with his head. And I don't really think it's something that he should be riding on because at the moment he needs to focus on playing football rather than trying to make the result. Because, of course, it's going to be a tight battle with Vinicius since they have a lot of trophies that they've racked up. And then when we go into the wings, of course, on the right wing for England, on the right wing we have a Bukayo Saka, and then on the left there's a possible Phil Foden there. When you get the right wing for Spain, it's electricity. I'd like to call it Masanyalaze because when you get a Williams for me on the left, and then you get a Yamal on the right, I think he scored his first goal of the tournament, I think of any international tournament, the last time out when they were playing France. And it was, wow, wow, wow. It was a very beautiful, well-taken finish. For a young man like that who actually turned 17, I think, he turned 17, I think, 2 days after scoring that goal. It was a very beautiful thing to see. And, of course, when we were to get one-on-one from the wings, because I think this game is determined from the wings, both for England and for Spain, Nico Williams and Kyle Walker is going to be a very nice battle to watch. Of course, Kyle Walker, over the years, has been, I think, the best player in the number 2 position. And he likes to come up against the best players in the game. He's come up against Vinicius Jr., he's bossed him. But Nico Williams is still young. He might not be as Vinicius Jr., but I think that's an impressive battle to watch. And then on the right, of course, they're going to be playing maybe a Bukayo Saka moving on that wing there, and maybe a Guehi for you. But I think on the right is where Spain gets the advantage from because I think that kid is too unpredictable. He's going to cut through on the left. He might probably cut through on the right and do a lot of magic inside there. For me, if I was to think England is going to pose a threat on that wing, I think Phil Foden hasn't been cooking a lot of spots as we expect him to do. But take nothing away from the football they've been playing. I think when you get, for me, like maybe, since we all said that Bukayo Saka has been versatile in the whole tournament and is going to move all the positions, if you can probably get for me a Cole Palmer on that right wing, would probably bring some headache for those guys because I think Cole Palmer is a more direct player. And I think somehow he knows how to cut in and out of the box and he's not going to be as predictable as he's supposed to be. So if you probably get me a Cole Palmer inside there on the right wing, then it would cause a problem for the defense. And then when we get into the striking positions for these two teams, I think Harry Kane has also not really had a tournament that we'd expect him to have. Of course, he entered the tournament with an injury that made him miss out on some Bayern games towards the end of the season, but he's not been as razor sharp as we expect Harry Kane to be. Well, somehow he's the top scorer of the tournament with Dani Olmo, but somehow I think, of course, the coach is not going to sit him out because, like I said, these international call-ups are scripted. They're basing on pedigree and maybe the name that someone has made over what someone has been playing. But you'll expect Harry Kane to be given a round of minutes to start that game inside there to cause some effort, to cause a lot of impact and all that. But I don't really think this is the Harry Kane that we've watched over the years. And then for Spain, Alvaro Morata only scored on the first game of the season. I think he's just there to take the space for the number 9 and maybe cause an impact on the defenders and all that, but I don't see him cooking a lot. So I'm thinking these are two evenly matched teams. And just like I said, a win for England reminds me of a win for England is going to be like disruption of the whole world because there's been a lot of banter, there's been a lot of Sky Sports, and all the media has been rooting for England. So if England wins the Euro 24 right now, it's going to be like Arsenal winning the English Premier League the season that ended and the one before. It's going to be like rapture, maybe World War IV or something. Well, I personally do not want England to win, right? Because somehow between the two sides, I think Spain has been playing very beautiful football. And then Kobe Mino has had, of course, if you've been checking a lot of the media and tabloids, Kobe Mino has been taking a lot of unbeaten streaks from people. He took the unbeaten streak from Rodri and Man City. He's been like anyone that is versing Kobe Mino, there's been a lot of maybe that whole buzz about Kobe Mino and winning games and all that. But this is the final. And let me give you guys my prediction before I give you the other things. I think this is going to be like the hardest call up I'm going to make in like the whole round, because England, England has been riding on like a lot of like luck. I would not really say that England has been winning games convincingly or anything, but Spain has been shutting all the battalions, all the attacks and everything that has been coming to them. So if you're up to me and has given you a winner for this game, I think Spain takes this final away from me. Take nothing away from that England team. And then, interestingly, we have actually this tournament has 5 top scorers. It has Dani Olmo, it has a Hurricane, it has the Georgia kid, very complicated name. It has the Slovenia guy, and then it also has, I think they're actually 5 guys. And then the Golden Boot this time around is going to be. They said if none of these 2 guys scores today, all these guys are going to share the Golden Boot. It's not going to be the same as the last time Cristiano Ronaldo took the Golden Boot from Patrick Schick, because somewhat he scored 5 goals earlier than Patrick Schick. Well, I think you can see that football is really scripted and controversial. But just in case you guys look to probably put your cash into this game, I think this game will be this final. We expect this final to be an over 1.5. Expect to have at least 2 goals in this final. But I repeat, Spain takes this final away from me. Without further ado, I don't want to keep you guys waiting for like all the buzz and everything. I just like to encourage you guys to enjoy the final. Well, we'll be bringing you guys more and more content after this is done. It's been nice having you guys on set. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like, share. Mr. Vamos checking out.